The road was empty. The radio was silent. Then a voice came through the speaker and said his name. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a truck driver traveling alone through Nevada's desert received a radio transmission. The voice was weak, distorted, almost buried beneath static. But there was one thing he heard clearly: his own name. Then the voice whispered,
东次大本 mile marker 63.
The terrifying part. The transmission came from a radio frequency that had been inactive for nearly 30 years, and when investigators traced the source, it led to a vehicle that officially didn't exist. There are roads people fear, roads known for accidents, roads known for disappearances, roads surrounded by local legends. And then, there is Highway 47, a forgotten stretch of desert road running through hundreds of miles of emptiness between Nevada and Utah. Most maps still show it. Most GPS systems still recognize it. And thousands of vehicles travel it every year. Yet among truck drivers, state troopers, and emergency dispatchers, Highway 47 has another reputation, a darker one, because for nearly 40 years travelers have reported the same impossible encounter: a radio transmission, a warning, a voice that knows their name, and according to official records, everyone who ignored the warning vanished. Tonight, we uncover the terrifying mystery of Highway 47, a story of disappearances, abandoned vehicles, unexplained transmissions, and a secret hidden beneath the desert that some believe should never have been uncovered. And before this story ends, you'll understand why many long-haul drivers still turn off their radios before passing mile marker 63. The desert looks different at night. During the day, Nevada appears endless: dry earth, rock formations, open skies, but after sunset, everything changes. The darkness feels larger, the silence becomes heavier, and distance becomes impossible to judge. Highway 47 cuts directly through one of the most isolated regions in the American Southwest. For over 200 miles, there are almost no towns, no gas stations, no houses, only asphalt disappearing into blackness. Locals often joke that if your car breaks down there, nobody will hear you scream. But over the years, the jokes slowly stopped, because strange reports kept appearing. The earliest documented case occurred in 1986. A truck driver named Frank Wilson contacted dispatch at approximately 2:18 a.m. His message was brief, confused, and deeply unsettling. Frank reported hearing another truck communicating on a dead frequency. The driver repeatedly warned him not to continue north. Dispatch assumed it was interference. Frank continued driving. 7 minutes later, his truck disappeared from radar. Neither Frank nor his vehicle were ever found. Not a trace, no wreckage, no tire marks, nothing, as though the truck simply vanished from existence. At first, authorities dismissed the case as an accident. Then it happened again, and again, and again. By 1994, state police began noticing similarities between multiple disappearances. Every victim had been traveling alone. Every disappearance occurred between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., and every witness described receiving a radio transmission shortly beforehand. The transmissions varied slightly, different voices, different wording, but the message remained essentially the same: a warning, a plea, a desperate attempt to stop someone from reaching mile marker 63. Then investigators discovered something stranger. Several recordings had survived: old dispatch tapes, crackling radio conversations, fragments of audio. When analyzed, experts noticed something impossible. The voices often belonged to people already listed among previous missing persons, people who had vanished years earlier. Some voices even matched individuals who were officially dead. The implications were absurd, yet the recordings existed, and nobody could explain them. In 2003, A night dispatcher named Sarah Whitaker experienced something that would permanently change the investigation. Sarah had worked emergency communications for nearly a decade. She was skeptical, practical, uninterested in ghost stories. Then one October night, a transmission appeared across multiple frequencies simultaneously. A man's voice, panicked, breathing heavily. He repeatedly stated his location, mile marker 63. Sarah attempted responding. The man immediately answered as though he could hear her. For nearly 6 minutes they spoke. The caller identified himself as Robert Ellis, a truck driver, 42 years old, transporting machinery through Nevada. But there was a problem. Robert Ellis had disappeared in 1997, 6 years earlier. Sarah froze. Then the caller said something even worse. He asked,
"What year is it?"
Sarah told him. Silence followed. Then Robert began crying. Before the transmission abruptly ended, authorities traced the signal. Its origin appeared to come from a location beneath the desert surface, nearly 80 feet underground. The discovery triggered a federal investigation. Geological surveys were ordered. Excavation teams arrived. What they uncovered should not have existed. Buried beneath layers of desert rock sat an abandoned military communications facility. Its entrance had been sealed for decades. Official records identified the site as Station Echo, a Cold War-era experimental communications project. Most files remained classified, but investigators learned enough to become concerned. The facility had been abandoned suddenly in 1968. Personnel were evacuated overnight. Equipment left behind. Research terminated. No public explanation was ever provided. Inside the facility, explorers found old radio arrays, transmission equipment, generators, dormitories, and something else. Hundreds of audio tapes. Many were damaged. Some remained playable. The recordings revealed growing panic among station personnel. Reports of voices appearing on inactive channels. Messages arriving before they were transmitted. Conversations with individuals not yet born. Then one final entry. A scientist speaking directly into a recorder. His voice trembling, he said,
"The signal isn't coming from somewhere else.
Pause.
It's coming from later."
Researchers eventually nicknamed the phenomenon the echo frequency. According to recovered documents, Station Echo had been experimenting with long-range communication technologies. The goal was simple: transmit information farther, faster, more efficiently. Instead, they may have stumbled upon something impossible. Certain frequencies appeared capable of transmitting signals across time, not consistently, not predictably, but occasionally. Fragments leaked through. Voices, conversations, warnings. Investigators initially dismissed the theory until they discovered something disturbing. Some transmissions contained information that had not yet occurred. Future accidents, weather conditions, emergency reports. Many predictions later proved accurate. Then came the most frightening discovery. The future messages were becoming more frequent, as though something on the other side was trying desperately to communicate. In 2011, authorities attempted one final experiment. A controlled convoy would travel Highway 47 while researchers monitored all radio activity. 3 trucks, police escort, air surveillance, full documentation. Everything was recorded. At 2:13 a.m., unusual transmissions began appearing. By 2:17 a.m., every radio simultaneously emitted the same voice. A woman screaming, then a warning. "Turn around." The convoy continued. At mile marker 63, cameras malfunctioned, GPS failed. Radio contact disappeared for exactly 4 minutes. When communications returned, one truck was gone, completely gone. The road ahead remained empty. The desert surrounding them remained untouched. The missing vehicle was never recovered. Neither was its driver. Years later, conspiracy theories exploded online. Some believed Highway 47 crossed a dimensional anomaly. Others suspected secret military technology. A few researchers proposed something even stranger. What if the disappearances were not deaths? What if the missing travelers had simply become trapped somewhere else? Because among the thousands of recovered radio recordings, one sentence appeared repeatedly, always spoken by different voices, always filled with terror. We're still on the road. Not we were, not we got lost. We're still on the road, present tense, as if the missing people continued traveling somewhere beyond normal reality, unable to stop, unable to escape, still searching for a way home. In 2022, a retired radio enthusiast scanning frequencies near Highway 47 recorded a transmission never officially explained. The voice belonged to a young woman, calm, almost exhausted. She identified herself as Emily Carter, one of the convoy drivers lost in 2011. Then she said,
"We found the end of the road."
The recording paused. Wind could be heard in the background. Then another voice asked.
"Can they hear us?"
Emily answered.
"Not for much longer."
Several seconds later, a final message emerged through heavy static, a message that remains the most chilling transmission ever associated with Highway 47.
Don't let them build another station.
The signal ended. No further contact followed. Today, Highway 47 remains open. Cars still cross it. Truckers still drive through the desert every night. Most experience nothing unusual. Most reach their destination safely. But occasionally, around 2:17 a.m., drivers still report hearing voices on dead frequencies, warnings from strangers, names whispered through static. And if the stories are true, somewhere beyond the darkness of mile marker 63, an endless highway still exists, a road occupied by travelers who disappeared decades ago, still driving, still transmitting, still trying to warn the living away. And perhaps the most terrifying question remains unanswered. If those warnings are real, what exactly are they trying to stop us from reaching? What do you think happened on Highway 47? A government experiment gone wrong? A time slip hidden beneath the desert? Or something even darker waiting beyond mile marker 63? And if a voice suddenly spoke your name through an empty radio in the middle of nowhere, would you keep driving? Comment your theory below. And if you're ready for more dark mysteries, terrifying legends, and unexplained horrors from around the world, subscribe to the Raven Threads, because every thread leads to mystery,